their online platforms. These are all related to the mental health of the nation.
Kim Leadbeater.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. We should be frank. We have not done enough to end the stigma of mental health. We have focused a lot on physical health, and we haven't, as a country, focused enough on mental health. Those are not my words, although I agree with them wholeheartedly. They were spoken by the then Prime Minister, David Cameron, in 2016. He went on, "If we intervene much earlier with those suffering from poor mental health, we can stop problems escalating. By breaking the mental health taboo, by working with businesses and charities, I believe we can lead a revolution in mental health treatment in Britain." Yes, yes and yes. My question is, why 7.5 years and 4 Tory Prime Ministers later are we still waiting? Mr Cameron has long departed these benches, and this is not the occasion to lament the mess he left behind. But the experience in my constituency, and I would respectfully suggest in the constituencies of many, if not all, honourable members, is that the government's approach to mental health all these years later remains wholly inadequate. We have heard a lot of statistics in this debate, and the numbers matter because they show the overwhelming scale of the problem we are facing. But every one of those numbers is an individual, and around them a network of family and friends whose lives are being impacted day in and day out by the very real challenges of confronting mental health and mental illness. I have met many such individuals and families in my constituency, and just last week I hosted a round table at which I heard heartbreaking stories of those daily struggles, many of them involving children and young people. Amelia is now 16 and was diagnosed with autism at the age of 7. For the past 9 years, her family, her mum Anna, have been trying to get help and support and are on their knees with exhaustion. Amelia has attempted to take her own life several times and has been so let down by the system, she says she just doesn't trust it anymore. It feels to her that she only gets any kind of support when there is an absolute crisis. I believe if she had got the support she needed a long time ago, she and her family would be in a much better place today. Eli is 10 and has been diagnosed with Tourette's syndrome. He has various tics affecting his eyes, face, neck, back, hands and feet. He is a fantastic young man, but he is regularly in pain, and it affects his ability to cope with days at school and is hugely affecting his mental health. Until recently, he was told that he just had conjunctivitis. His mum, Natalie, told me that she has struggled to find the psychiatric support Eli needs, and every time she calls CAMHS, she is passed from person to person. She has been told there are no NICE guidelines on Tourette's, and the best they have been offered to date is worry management. These are just 2 examples, but they reflect a much bigger problem across society and in all our communities. I have meetings on a very regular basis with teachers across Batley and Spen, but we spend far more time discussing the mental health needs of their pupils and indeed their families than we do any of the other many challenges faced in education at the moment, a sector which is also underfunded and under-resourced. But we cannot keep pushing this issue back on schools. Teachers are doing an amazing job, but we can't expect them to take on the responsibility for what is a widespread societal health issue due to over a decade of a lack of focus and national leadership on mental health. And it's not just teachers. Because we don't have the mental health experts and provision that we need in the places where we need them, it falls to others in the community to pick up the pieces. In Batley and Spen, I'm incredibly proud of the many voluntary organisations, sports clubs and charities who are doing a magnificent job week in and week out under huge pressure themselves. In my constituency, I pay tribute to groups such as Andy's Man's Club, Game Changers, Blue Tulips, Team Daniel and Luke's Lads. But the voluntary sector is propping up the NHS and indeed society as a whole. That is not sustainable and it's simply not right. We wouldn't expect teachers and sports coaches and voluntary groups and others to deal with a burst appendix or a broken leg or an ear infection. So why are we asking them to deal with a mental health crisis? Of course, they are absolutely part of a wider holistic solution, but they should not be the solution. This is not the parity of esteem, surely, that David Cameron spoke of between mental health and physical health. And whilst I'm hugely optimistic about the excellent plans we have to address the mental health crisis on this side of the House, people like Natalie, Eli, Anna and Amelia cannot wait any longer, which is why today's debate is so important.
Dr. Ben Spencer.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. As I'm sure you'd expect, as a now non-practising previous consultant psychiatrist, I've got a whole host